So I hope you can't hear my husband talking to his co-coach of the women's soccer team that they coach, because they are talking really loud. But anyway, when you're dealing with linear functions, you want to always find your y-intercept, your starting amount. You always want to find your slope. So here we are with the table. I mean, with the graph, you're going to go ahead and find your change in y and your change in x. In this case, it goes up 2 for every 1. So the slope here is 2 for every 1. And we're going to, those two pieces of information, we're going to use that for the table, we're going to use that for the situation, we're going to use that for the equation. Here is, by the way, our y-intercept is also a 2 in this case. So let's take that to our equation. Once again, we have an equation which is y equals mx plus b, because we're talking about a linear function which grows by adding the same amount over and over again. And where is it starting? So in this case, our situation is you need to define the we need to find those two things. We need to find the y-intercept, and we need to find the slope. And we found both of them. The slope is 2, and it's starting out at 2. So once you find those things, you're good. Now we've got the graph, and we already figured out we have a y-intercept of 2 and a slope of 2. So this particular one, we're going to have to make up a situation, and we can make up any situation we want that meets these requirements. And so we have to have a situation where we start with 2, and add 2 each over and over again. So we can talk about money. We can talk about a tree. Let's talk about a tree. So a tree grows. In this case, we're going to go ahead and deal with this situation, and you could do whatever you want. The slope represents how fast the tree is growing. Sheesh. And then the y-intercept would stand for wheat. How tall it was when it was planted. Right? So that's a situation that would work, or you could start with $2 in the bank and go ahead and see how much of it's growing by $2 a day, which is silly. So for this particular one, we're starting with $2. Remember the 0. X is 0 is always where your y-intercept is. And then it's growing by 2 each time. So for every 1, there's 2, so that would be 4. If it would be for 2, then it would be 6, 3 would be 8, and X stands for the number of, since we're talking about trees, we're talking about number of years, and Y is the total tree height. So we figured out all of them. You could have made up any situation you wanted. So just to sum things up, if you're going from the graph to a table of values, you need to find your starting amount and what you're adding by. If you're going from a graph to the equation, you need to find your starting amount, which we call the y-intercept, and your slope. So those two pieces of information are needed in each situation. Table of values, graph, or the equation. And then if you have to make up a situation, you have to make up a situation.